Welcome to The Checkout. We catch up with previous Add to Cart guests and ask them 5 quick questions to get to know them better and leave you with a little extra inspiration to get through your Friday. Here's your host, Bushy.
Today's Checkout features Dr. Clinton Schultz, founder and director of Sobah Beverages. He's a Gamilaraay man, a psychologist, a former chef, and the co-founder of Sobah Beverages. In 2017, after 2 years on the Sobah bandwagon, Clinton was frustrated at the lack of adult drink options that weren't alcoholic, and he launched Sobah in response. The business is on a mission to champion Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander culture, native foods, and well-being, and through their unique range of brews, help to reduce the stigma around socialising sober. Clinton, welcome to the Checkout. We've had a really great chat on the main episode about what you're doing at Sobah, creating some really interesting non-alc beverages and taking on the category, and also talked about the voice and how we can have better conversations around what's coming up in Australia over the next few months. I want to find out a little bit more about you. I've got 5 quick questions. Number 1, what's the weirdest thing that you've ever bought online?
I don't know if I can talk about the weirdest thing I've ever bought online. There might be some legal issues around. Just joking.
We've always got editing here, don't worry.
The weirdest thing that I was looking at this question when you first sent the sheet through, and I was thinking, I don't think I've actually bought anything overly weird online. I do know that, a funny little story, my old man did, my old man is mid-60s now, and probably 15 years ago now, he was running his own little adult business online. So I did used to go on there every now and then and just see, what is this guy doing? So I never bought anything off him, but
never found his warehouse or his storage shed?
It was all just in his garage at home.
Oh, God, all the teenage boys want to come around to your place.
From some other failing e-commerce site or something.
That's where you got the bug. All right, number 2, who's your favourite retailer?
Oh, man, MX Store by far. I think that what those guys do is just incredible. Like, you walk in there and it's like seeing this little workshop and all the little happy elves running around all the time, and they've just gone from strength to strength over the last decade. They only started up 10 years ago, and they're a freaking huge entity these days, one of the biggest, I guess, e-commerce retailers in that sort of space. So, yeah, love what those guys do.
Yeah, it's a great example. They go under the radar a fair bit, but a great success story out of the GC. Number 3, which e-commerce practice do you wish was history?
Oh, freaking text messages, man. Nothing pisses me off more than getting non-stop text messages, particularly on a Sunday afternoon.
Oh, yeah.
Sitting there, either watching the footy or playing footy in the yard with kids, and I'm getting all these text messages about what I need to buy on a Monday morning. Leave me alone. It's Sunday Army.
The worst ones
for Monday at least.
The worst ones are the ones who have just discovered text messaging, and you might have opted in 5 or 10 years ago, and you're just going, you just have my data. And now they're like, we can get them with text messaging because our email's not working anymore. And you're like, fuck, totally forgot about that one. All right, number 4, can you recommend a book or a podcast that our listeners should immediately get into?
Yeah, I'd recommend it. All Australians go and read something called a book called The Dreaming Path. It was by Paul Callahan and Uncle Paul Gordon. They go really into to a lot of the, I guess, the law and cultural practices that I'm yarning with about people all the time. They're from the mob just next door to my mob, so there's a lot of similarities in what they talk about. A lot of time people ask me, if you're going to write a book, like they say, you don't need to write a book anymore because it's already there. And I'm like, yeah, thank God for that. But, it's an amazing book. Really got a lot of time for those fellas, and I think every Australian could benefit from that book. And there's some really good practical tips for not just life, but actually for business as well.
Awesome. We'll put a link in the show notes so people can grab a copy. Number 5, finish this sentence. The future of retail is?
Driven by AI.
You say that with a sigh. Do you mean that?
No, I don't say it with a sigh. I do think that there is potential harm that can happen through it. But I also see immense benefit to businesses for it. But I don't think either way there's any escaping it. I think everybody's already writing their posts through ChatGPT or one of the other AI platforms. So, yeah, it's either learn how to use it and do it in a beneficial and safe way for your business or get left behind, I think.
Yeah, beautiful. Clinton, we'll let you go. You've got a non-alc brewery, the first in Australia to go open up. A lot of work ahead. Thank you for joining us on the Checkout.
Cheers, bud.
To hear more from Clinton, jump back into episode 343, where Clinton shares how to be a better listener and why that is important in all aspects of our life. He also shares what businesses can do to move away from just ticking boxes when it comes to supporting First Nations people, and tells us about how their mushroom beer with Peking Duk, the band, not the food, how it all came about. Thanks for listening, and until next time, keep adding to cart.